Welcome back everyone. This is the second video under the topic annuities. In this video we will be discussing about annuities due. So let's get started. Well, if you are not that thorough with ordinary annuities, I recommend you to go through that part 1 video because ordinary annuities and annuities due are quite similar. Before jumping into annuities due, recall what we discussed under ordinary annuities. Ordinary annuities is when cash flows of the same amount is occurring at the end of each period for n number of periods. Whereas in the case of annuities due, the first cash flow is occurring immediately at the start of year 1 or period 1, which is in this case year 0. But remember, in ordinary annuities, the first cash flow was at the end of year 1. So that's the main difference. And the time gap between each cash flow is the same, just like in ordinary annuities. So simply, annuities due is when the first cash flow is occurring immediately. Let's calculate the present value of annuities due. So remember, the first cash flow is occurring immediately in case of annuities due. So the 5,000 is there as it is, we don't have to discount it. That plus the next 5,000 should be discounted by 1 year because it's occurring at the end of year 1. So 5,000 divided by 1 plus the discount rate of 10% to the power 1. Likewise, we will have to discount the other cash flows. And the last cash flow that's occurring at the end of year 9, which is the 10th cash flow, should also be discounted by 9 years. So it's 5,000 divided by 1 plus the discount rate of 10% to the power 9. Remember the formula we used when calculating the present value of ordinary annuities, which was cash flow divided by the discount rate times 1 minus 1 divided by 1 plus the discount rate to the power of n. Just like that formula, we can come up with a formula for this as well. So here, the difference is we have an immediate cash flow. So it's going to be the cash flow plus the cash flow, because it's the same amount, the regular cash flow, divided by the discount rate times 1 minus 1 over 1 plus the discount rate to the power n minus 1. Why is it n minus 1? Because it's 10 minus 1. There are 10 periods, but the cash flows are occurring immediately, like at the start of the period. And that will give you an answer of 33,795. And this is the formula we used. The cash flow plus the cash flow divided by the discount rate times 1 minus 1 over 1 plus r to the power of n minus 1. There is an alternative method used to calculate the present value of annuities due, and that is by using the formula that we use to calculate the present value of ordinary annuities. So recall what we did in the first video. We used the cash flow of 5,000, divided it by the discount rate of 10%, multiplied it by 1 minus 1 divided by 1 plus the discount rate of 10% to the power of n, which was 10. So this was the ordinary annuity. But we have to get annuities due. And the difference between ordinary annuities and annuities due is that annuities due, in case of annuities due, the first cash flow is occurring immediately. So you multiply this by 1 plus the discount rate of 10%. And that will give you the same answer. This was the formula we used. Cash flow divided by the discount rate times 1 minus 1 over 1 plus r to the power n. And that first part is the same thing we used when calculating the present value for ordinary annuities. And you multiply that whole thing by 1 plus the discount rate.